defining moment in our history. Our nation is at war. The planet is in peril. The dream that so many generations fought for feels as if it's slowly slipping away. And that is why the same old Washington textbook campaigns just won't do. That's why telling the American people what we think they want to hear, instead of telling the American people what they need to hear, just won't do. America, our moment is now. I don't want to spend the next year or the next 4 years refighting the same fights that we had in the 1990s. I don't want to pit red America against blue America. I want to be the President of the United States of America.
Sir, I want to ask you a question on behalf of the veterans. I'll get it together. I feel strongly about my question. I entered the Air Force in 1956 on active duty. I was promised at the time I would have health care when I retired if I met a certain number of points. In 1988, I retired and met those qualifications, but I did not receive my health care until later, when on a political decision, it was decided that they would fund health care for veterans, and they gave me TRICARE. For that, I'm very grateful, because I stand before you alive today because of the surgery on my heart and a pacemaker, which you paid for, and I want to thank you publicly. But there are other veterans who've been denied health care. And every so often, the Congress plays politics and decides, will we fund health care for veterans this year? If so, how much? This system needs to be changed so that we can count on health care for our veterans who are returning now, more and more of them with terrible injuries, and we can't desert them. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate your service. You know, look, you made the essential point, which is you earned your benefits. Veterans earn their benefits. They've been made a promise by Uncle Sam. You serve your country, here's what we're going to do for you. That promise has all too often been broken. As Commander-in-Chief, one of my jobs, in addition to keeping you safe, as I said before, is maintaining our military, and that means taking care of our veterans so that future generations, when they think about enlisting and serving, understand that that promise will not be broken. So what that means is, yes, we have to fund all the services that have been promised to our veterans. We can't play politics with it. I've been on the VA committee for the last 3 years having to fight the Bush administration for the VA to take more money because they were trying to keep their budget low, partly because they didn't want to show how much Iraq is costing us. But the truth is we've got hundreds of thousands, not just with wounds that are visible, but wounds that are not, like post-traumatic stress disorder, which is why I've said we have to screen every single person that gets out of our military, including National Guard and reservists. If they have post-traumatic stress disorder, they've got to receive those services, because that's the reason why veterans are 7 times more likely to be homeless than non-veterans. And that's a scandal. It is inexcusable. We should have zero tolerance for homelessness among veterans. We should have zero tolerance for homelessness generally, but especially for those who fought on our behalf. My father was from Kenya, from Africa. That Barak means one who's blessed by God in Swahili. My mother was from Kansas, which is where I got my accent from. I originally came to Chicago to work on behalf of communities that needed help rebuilding after the devastation of steel plants that had closed on the far south side of Chicago. But the best education I received was working with people in the community on a grassroots basis, because what it taught me was that ordinary people, when they are working together, can do extraordinary things.
I realized that there was only so much that we could do on a local level on some of the issues that we were working on. So I went back to law school, went to Harvard Law School.
But I knew that I wanted to re-engage in community when I got back. And so rather than take the path of corporate law or some administration job in Washington, I came back, ran a voter registration project, Project Vote. We registered 150,000 new voters. I started a civil rights practice, working on voting rights cases. I started teaching at the University of Chicago, teaching constitutional law.
The biggest blessing of my life is my family. I've got a wonderful wife, Michelle. We've been blessed with 2 beautiful daughters, and we're active in our church, Trinity United Church of Christ. My family life, I think, is most important to me, and it's the main thing I do when I'm not working in my political life.
I just want to stand in strong support of this bill and working for a number of organizations throughout the state that are trying to deal with this homelessness issue. I think this is an example.
One of the things I'm very proud of is the fact that I've been able to get things done whether I'm in the minority party or in the majority party. And we've been able to build bipartisan coalitions around a lot of these issues.
I stand here today to answer that call and affirm that I will be a candidate for the United States Senate in 2004.
Barack Obama cruising all night to the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. This victory also amazing because Barack Obama was outspent by a margin of 6-1.
16 months later, we are here, and Democrats from all across Illinois, suburb, city, downstate, upstate, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, have declared, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. The pundits like to slice and dice our country into red states and blue states. Red states for Republicans, blue states for Democrats. But I've got news for them too. We worship an awesome God in the blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around in our libraries in the red states. We coach Little League in the blue states, and yes, we've got some gay friends in the red states. There are patriots who opposed the war in Iraq, and there are patriots who supported the war in Iraq. We are one people, all of us pledging allegiance to the Stars and Stripes, all of us defending the United States of America.